All right, let's dive into one of William Shakespeare's absolute masterpieces of comedy, Twelfth Night. Written way back around 1601, it is this brilliant, hilarious, and honestly a surprisingly modern story about love, loss, and a whole lot of mistaken identity.
And the play's heroine, Viola, she just perfectly captures the chaos with this one line. She finds herself smack in the middle of a romantic mess that is so tangled up, so complicated, she basically throws her hands up and says, you know what, fate's got to sort this out because I sure can't. And believe me, what a mess it is.
So where does all this chaos even come from? Well, the whole story gets kicked off by one single dramatic event. A huge shipwreck that separates a pair of twins, Viola and Sebastian. And each of them is left thinking the other one is dead. So Viola washes up on the shore of this strange, romantic land called Illyria. Now you have to imagine for the audience back then, this place sounded super exotic, almost like a fairy tale land. But for Viola, it's terrifying. She is completely alone, she thinks her brother is gone, and she's got to figure out how to survive. So what does she do? She comes up with a really bold plan. She decides to disguise herself to pretend to be a young man named Cesario. And this isn't just about getting a job, this is pure survival. By becoming Cesario, she gets a position working for the powerful Duke Orsino. But this one decision, this one disguise, is the spark that lights the fire for all the hilarious confusion that's about to happen. Okay, so let's get into the juicy part, because this is where the romantic comedy really truly kicks into high gear. We're talking about a love triangle that just gets more tangled and funnier with every single scene. So on one side of this triangle, you have Duke Orsino. He is just hopelessly head over heels in love with the Countess Olivia. But Olivia? She wants nothing to do with him. She's actually sworn off men entirely for 7 whole years to mourn her brother. So we're at a total romantic standstill. So here comes the first twist. Viola, now disguised as the young man Cesario and working for the Duke, almost immediately falls in love with her new boss. But of course, he has no idea. To him, she's just his loyal page boy. He can't see the woman she actually is. And the irony here just gets thicker. Orsino, totally oblivious to his new page's secret crush, decides that this charming young man is the absolute perfect person to be his wingman, to go and deliver his love messages to Olivia for him. I mean, can you imagine how awkward that is for Viola? And this is where the knot gets tied. When Cesario goes to deliver the Duke's messages, Olivia isn't impressed by Orsino at all. No, she's completely captivated by the messenger. She falls hard and fast for Cesario, who she thinks is a man. And just like that, our love triangle isn't just a triangle anymore, it's a complete and utter tangle. But while all this high-stakes romantic drama is going on upstairs with the nobles, Twelfth Night has a whole other thing happening downstairs in Olivia's house, and it is wild. It's full of drunken parties, pranks, and a huge clash of personalities. You basically have 2 opposing teams in this house. In one corner, you've got the party animals. Olivia's uncle, the always drinking Sir Toby Belch, his goofy friend Sir Andrew, and the super smart servant Maria. And in the other corner, you have Malvolio. He's Olivia's head steward, and he is just this pompous, self-righteous guy who absolutely hates fun. This whole conflict boils over in one of Shakespeare's most famous lines ever. Malvolio comes in to yell at them for partying too late, and Sir Toby just fires back with this absolute classic. He's basically saying, hey, just because you're no fun, does that mean the party's over for the rest of us? It's perfect. So what happens next? Well, these 2 separate stories, the fancy romance upstairs and the rowdy comedy downstairs, they're about to crash right into each other in the most spectacular way possible.
To get back at Malvolio for being such a buzzkill, Maria comes up with this genius prank. She fakes a love letter from Olivia, and she fills it with these vague clues that she knows the incredibly vain Malvolio will think are about him. The letter tells him to do all these ridiculous things, like wear hideous yellow stockings and smile like a maniac, all things she knows Olivia actually hates. It is a perfect trap.
Now, just when you think things can't possibly get any more confusing, Shakespeare says, hold my beer. Because guess who's just arrived in Illyria? Yep, it's Sebastian, Viola's identical twin brother, the one she's been thinking is dead this whole time. Sebastian's arrival just throws gasoline on the fire of mistaken identity. It's one hilarious disaster after another. People keep confusing him for Cesario.
This leads to a duel where the wrong guy gets punched, a friend gets arrested for defending the wrong person, and, get this, Olivia sees Sebastian, thinks he's Cesario, and asks him to marry her right then and there. And he, totally confused but also totally delighted, just says yes.
So the knot is now impossibly tight. How do you even begin to fix this? A woman disguised as a man is in love with her boss, who loves another woman, who loves the disguise, but just accidentally married the woman's identical twin brother. Well, you solve it with one grand, final, jaw-dropping reveal.
The climax of the whole play is when Viola and Sebastian finally, for the very first time, are standing in the same room together. You can just imagine everyone's minds being blown. All the weird, confusing stuff that's been happening suddenly makes perfect sense. They weren't dealing with one person, but two.
And after that, you get this cascade of happy endings. The twins are reunited. Duke Orsino realizes that the deep connection he felt with Cesario was real, and he wants to marry Viola. Olivia is perfectly happy with her accidental husband Sebastian. Even Sir Toby and Maria get hitched. But there's one person left out of the party, Malvolio. He's humiliated, furious, and storms off promising revenge.
And that really brings us to why this play, 400 years later, is still so popular. I mean, its ideas about gender and identity feel like they could have been written yesterday. It's this perfect blend of clever, witty romance and just silly slapstick comedy. And you can see its DNA in so many modern movies, like She's the Man or Motocross.
In the end, Twelfth Night is just this joyful, wonderful celebration of love and second chances. But that angry last line from Malvolio, it really sticks with you. And it leaves us with this one final question. For a play that ends with so many happy couples, is it really a perfect comedy? Or is there maybe a little bit of tragedy for the one guy who was so cruelly left out of all the fun?